Greetings and welcome, everyone. It's an All You Can Geek Gamecast. I'm one of your hosts, Jim Gass, joined by Mike Sneedy,
What's up?
Corey Feinsod,
Ahoy!
and Tony Korkanakis.
Hello, hello.
Welcome, guys. Welcome, listeners and viewers. We are live right now on Twitch, Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Please join us for these live broadcasts. We just finished up the movie cast. We're on the Gamecast now. If you don't have the time to join us live here, we are over on YouTube. So when you subscribe there, you get notified when we post. We post a couple days a week now. Be sure to subscribe and leave us a comment over there. Give us a like. We appreciate it. It helps us out. All right, guys. Gamecast. What have we been up to? Corey, kick us off.
Monster Hunter. I've been slowly going through it. The funny thing is, like, you play something else for a little bit, and then you go back to Monster Hunter. It's like, that's tough. Like, because the skills that you need to, once you get used to the weapons, like, and you know what you're doing, it's great. Everything's fine. But when you first getting back in after a little bit, it's like, oh wait, what? How am I doing all this? And then,
Is it like
I completely fumbled a big time with my stuff, my shots, my dodges.
Is it like control based wise? Is that what you're saying? Like what does
Well,
what?
yeah, I mean, each weapon has a completely different feel and like approach you have to take, and it's like it's the whole, you get used to a certain style of play, and then taking a break and coming back, it makes it much more difficult to get back in the swing of things. Like if you take a break from Elden Ring or whatever, you take some time to get that muscle memory back. Same thing,
I don't even know how bad I'm at that game right now.
Yeah, you have to build those the memory back, and you have to. It's like training, take a break, and you feel like, oh shoot, I'm way behind and stuff. But
Sifu was the worst for me with that.
Yeah, I mean, like,
you can't take a break on that game.
I didn't set up my pouch right and everything, and so I was all fumbling and stuff, and there's no pausing. It's all continuous. It still just goes when you're in the pause menu.
Oh.
And so I was like, oh shoot, I need to fix some stuff. And so then I was like, shoot, I messed up and I got killed. And I was like, oh well, all right, we'll just spawn back at the camp. Except the monster was at the camp with me. So I spawned at the camp and he's right on top of me. So it immediately goes into us. I had no time to actually reorganize my stuff. And so I just had to plow through and figure it out after I beat him. But yeah, it was fun.
What rank are you?
Oh, I don't even know how to check that.
What?
I'm not that far. I guess I'm only. I'm still.
What chapter?
I think chapter 2. I think.
Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, my comment to you would just be get good, but.
Yeah, just to roll into that, because that's also what I've been up to.
Sure.
I beat high rank finally.
Oh,
low rank is what I would say is the tutorial. Like, hey, this is how you play a Monster Hunter game.
Got it.
And high rank's the real shit now. I cannot wait for you to get the high rank. Because you were the one that was like,
I know,
this game's supposed to be hard. But I'm like, cannot wait to see Corey play this now, because there are some fights where I'm just
get there.
Yeah. I'm getting demolished. I'm like, oh my god, like one hit straight up. It's like, I'm like, I'm at 80% health. I could get hit by this. I could not get hit by that.
The difficulty in this game, is it mechanical, or is it all about leveling up and getting the right stuff together and knowing
There
stuff?
isn't really levels, I'd say, right? I mean, you're not like,
I'm
now
just
level 10 and level 12. Like, you're just getting better with the weapon. They're upgrading the weapon and making sure the weapon is appropriately tuned to the monster you're fighting. That's how I've seen it.
The difficulty is, I guess, I would say, one part of it is learning the monster that you're encountering, right? Because each of these monsters could be an elaborate boss all on its own in another game.
Oh, absolutely.
Where you have to learn their patterns, their behaviors, the movesets. The other part of it is knowing your own weapon, what you're capable of, what your strengths and your weaknesses are. It's not something where you can just be like, oh, I'll trade damage with them or something like that. It's like, no, you will lose that battle very quickly. And the third thing is, the loop part of it is that your character has no character level. When I was asking Corey his rank, it's just kind of determined his hunter rank progression in the story. Just kind of to be like, oh, if he's 20 something, I'm like, oh, that's chapter 2, right? 30s your chapter 3, and 40s where you're chapter 4. But the most important part is really your items, because that's where your character strength comes from. All your items have ranks as well, so I think it's rank 1 through 8. And I mean, a skilled player can still take like a rank 1 weapon, just like in Elden Ring or Bloodborne or whatever it is, Sifu, any of these games, or Hades, where it's like, I'm gonna take this like common gray weapon and I'm gonna fucking beat this game. I'm a speedrun. So you're just that good. You know that weapon. But obviously, if you have like an epic or a legendary, whatever, rank 7, rank 8, is going to make the game way easier for you because you're doing more damage. And on top of that, there are elemental bonuses, kind of like Pokemon. So it's like, hey, if you're fighting a water dragon, you should probably bring like electric ammo for Corey, or like a sword imbued with like electricity. If for me, because
right, there's definitely bonuses to the weaknesses. No, and understand. Like Tony was saying, you got to know the boss or the monster you're fighting, so that way you can be prepared adequately for that fight.
Right, and then just to give another example, so like, one item that everybody has in this game, the gimmick, is you have your slingshot, which is like kind of like a wrist-mounted thing. You could shoot things from it, or you can kind of like Batman hook onto things and swing off of it or whatever. So the different items in the field that if you grab will become ammo, right? So like dung or poop is one of them. And it's like, hey, if you pick up the poop and you shoot it at the monsters, like if there's a crowd of them, it'll disperse them because nobody likes the smell of poop, right? So that's a way to clear out monsters from each other, because if like you're fighting a pack of 3 or 4 gorillas, they're gonna like just turn around and like just start pounding on you. So it's like you throw poop on 1 or 2 of them, the others will run away. You can focus on one. But for example, like there's one where you can do like a flashbang basically, and there's some monsters where that is super effective against them. Like you blind them for 15 seconds and like you can pretty much wail on them.
Yeah.
Right. But there are other monsters where if you use it, they're not effective because maybe they don't have eyes or whatever, something like that. So it's just a lot of like institutional knowledge and like things that you just gain through playing the game and researching. Like it's really in depth. Like there's a bestiary in the game, and my friend roasted me for this because she's like, "You didn't know how to do whatever." I'm like, "No, why? How would I know that?" She's like, "Did you read like their beast entry?"
I
was
don't
like,
read any
no.
of that stuff.
I like, what game do I ever read that in other than like Pokemon, right? And that's just for funsies.
Yeah.
She's like, "You loser." I was like, "Jesus Christ." I was like, okay.
Wait a second.
You loser.
Yeah, she's like, "There's relevant information in there." I was like, "Okay, my bad."
Apparently.
Wow. It's a cutthroat game.
So yeah. I beat high rank and pretty much just waiting for the next tier of monster to come around, which I think is next week. Capcom just had a presentation on it today. But I was going to talk about Xenoblade Chronicles X this week until data miners picked up there's a mode for 60 frames per second, which the current Switch is not capable of doing. So it seems to me like that's a good thing that the Switch 2 might do. So instead of playing it now, I'm waiting. So because I'm waiting, I decided to get another game.
Okay.
Game that you might not expect.
Oh wait, let's see.
A game that millions of players have enjoyed over the past 72 hours, or I guess 96 now at this point.
Oh wow.
But
You got
Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Creed.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
They got you with the Japan setting,
When-
get you, or just the
Well-
like
What was the last Assassin's Creed you've played?
Odyssey.
Okay.
so?
So it's a combination of things. First of all, Ubisoft has their own version of Game Pass. It's called Ubisoft Premium.
Yep.
And that's how I was going to play Star Wars Outlaws whenever you got it, Jim. But
Yep.
because you were like, this game needs patching, that I was like, well, I'll just wait then. And this is available for $18. I was like, you know what? I'm pretty sure I could beat Assassin's Creed in 1 month for $18. So I technically don't own it. It's just a subscription service.
License.
But it's perfect for me because I'm pretty sure this is a game that like I would beat and I would probably never play again.
Yeah.
I just don't do that with most games to begin with anyway.
When's the last time you played Ghost of Tsushima?
Right, exactly. So that's fine with me. But part of it too is that, obviously I like the setting. Like Ghost of Tsushima is great. I love Sekiro, stuff like that. Samurai, ninjas, Tenchu, all that. But, the other part of it was I felt Ubisoft is actually doing some really good stuff here with like protecting their team, like having diversity, going against, what some of these people like Grums and fucking Musk are shitting on.
Letting it cook a little more.
Yeah, letting it cook more. Protecting their developers. So I was like, you know what? I'll put my money where my mouth is. I will hand over 18 of my hard-earned dollars so I can add to that statistic. And I got to say, it is pretty good. I think the review scores are about like low 8s or maybe high 7s, something
I
like
think
that.
so.
Which is after 8 or 9 hours. What I'd probably give it right now. There's less bloat than Odyssey in terms of like, because I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember when I beat the tutorial area or whatever, the first island in Odyssey, because I was enjoying that. And then as soon as they're like, oh, well, now you begin the real story, and they open up your map, and they're like, and it zooms out, and then all of a sudden you see like things just popping up. I'm just like, okay, you know what? You just turned me off so much by that. Like I just had no desire to do all of the things that you just showed me there. So it's a bit more kind of like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, where obviously if you climb to an eagle point, I guess that's what they call it. I don't know what they call it.
Yep.
You could see things, but then you have these markers where it's like, oh, if you highlight it, and then you could place a marker on the map. So if you're heading in that destination, you could be like, okay, I want to go to this area that I spotted earlier. It's not just hey, it appeared on my map magically, and I have no reason why. It's
like because
it's a game,
style,
right?
Breath of the Wild,
right,
yeah,
right, exactly. So there's that. Combat's pretty fun. It just uses like a light or heavy swing mechanic. What I do like is the duality of you have Yasuke, who's like the big, tall, brute strength samurai dude who just like charges through stuff, can break fences, environmental stuff. And you have I think Noboe is her name. She's more like the stealth assassin ninja character, who she can't take as many hits or doesn't deal as much damage with her sword strikes, but she can climb walls. She does all the parkour stuff and everything like that. And I like playing as her because it really does remind me of that was it Tenshu game back on PlayStation 1? I don't know if you guys remember that one.
Yeah. I love
where it's like figuring that stuff out. So 8 hours in. The one thing I would say is that I'm underwhelmed by the side quest stuff and like just they have towns, they have villages and stuff, which is really cool. But there's like nobody really to talk to, so I'm just kind of like in town. There's NPCs, they're moving about. You really can't talk to any of them, so I'm just like, oh well. That's a modern game problem, right? Where it's just like, how do you make that interesting? It's a balance of density versus depth, right? Do you want to go wide or do you want to go deep? But yeah, I mean, it's not hopefully a light spoiler, but it's a revenge story. Those are pretty easy sells for me. So we'll see how it goes. The other thing I didn't like is the game totally introed with that fucking Animus bullshit, which you could tell me anything, and I'd just be like, okay, sure. Like,
one of the questions I heard got raised is, how does the Animus let you play as somebody not in your lineage?
I don't think that's been like that for a while.
Has it? I don't know.
I think they've moved away from that for a while.
Okay, I think you had to be related to play as them.
Maybe in the old ones, but Animus version 1.0 or 2.0, we're past that now. Because I remember at one point you were literally a video game company, Abstergo, just testing bullshit out. So I think they moved away from that. But
cool.
Yeah, fortunately, it was
the modern story.
For me. So I was like,
the modern story has been completely off the rail since they moved away from Desmond, I think, in Assassin's Creed 3.
Yeah, but the game is beautiful, like absolutely beautiful. And the forests feel like forests. They're doing some weird tech with the traversal. To give an example, so like when you're riding your horse, and there's a lot of mountains, right?
Mm-hmm.
And usually in games, when your horse runs into a tree, they stop, right?
Yeah.
And that's super frustrating and super aggravating and whatnot. And I don't know how to prove this, but I just feel like when you're on your horse and you're riding the mountains, there's some game magic where it's just like, you know what? We're just going to phase you through these couple trees to let you get through it. Like, I don't know how to technically explain it other than I feel like that is their implementation, their solution to, how do we let you ride your horse, encourage you to ride your horse all the time or most of the time without frustrating the player? Because it just, something in my brain where I'm like, I know this should not be working, but it is, so I'm not questioning it.
Got it.
Just weird game magic. Yeah, I don't know.
I might check this out, actually. I see that it actually lets you play on Luna, that's Amazon's thing, right?
Yes, I did try that. Because it was a 100 gigabyte install.
Yeah.
So I just tried it on Luna, and I would, other than loading different cutscenes at the beginning, I didn't have any problems with lag.
Okay.
I was really impressed.
I'm gonna check it out then. Cool. All right.
Mike? And I think actually, if you get it, I'm sorry. I think if you do subscribe to Ubisoft Premium, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
You can download it on the Xbox, but
I see that,
for that's for Mike, But yeah, you can play it on Luna too. So for $18.
$18. Mike, what are you thinking?
Not now.
What are you playing right now?
Kingdom Come Deliverance on the back burner.
Not on the back. I'm in it now. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I'm in it.
Let's hear it. How you liking it?
Well, I'm liking it. I expected to. I played the first game like 6-7 months ago, which was good timing. Mm-hmm. And obviously it was also good timing because they like patched in a bunch of,
playing the game at the end of its life is usually the best time to play it. So.
Yeah. So this Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is almost like they went from like a AA to a AAA game, but it's still the same idea. It's a lot more polished. And to describe the game, I would say cross like The Witcher 3 with like a Bethesda type sandbox, and then take away all the magic stuff. And that's basically what you got in Kingdom Come Deliverance. It's very similar to the first game, but obviously it's smoother, better looking. There's loadouts for your gear, which is helpful. And yeah, I mean, it's a time investment though. You have to do a lot of like menial stuff to figure stuff out, and you start off again pretty weak. I have to relearn how to fight a little bit. I have to, you start out, you need like a shovel, you need a horse, you need any sort of weapon. You don't have that stuff at the beginning of this game. So, yeah, but it's fun, and the production values are up. Put a fair amount of time in it already, and I mean, I would recommend it to anyone else who wants to spend some time and likes the idea of a medieval world without magic bullshit.
Yeah, I've a couple people that I know play it, and they really liked it a lot. So that's good. Good for them. Mm-hmm. That's awesome. You always want to see a sequel improve on everything that the first one was good at. So.
Mm-hmm. And but as I'm getting more into that, my Marvel Rivals play is suffering. I am losing a lot more because I'm not as focused on it. It's pretty funny, but whatever.
I mean, that's what I just talked about. Like, switching between different games, you get used to one thing, and then you gotta go back to the other thing, and it's like, oh, gotta retrain the brain.
Yep. It's like the total opposite type of game, but it is fun to go back and forth until I go on that like 10-game losing streak in Rivals. Then it's not that fun. That's it.
All right. We can move on. I haven't really gotten to play much myself, so let's get into some news. Gamecast stuff. All right. Let's see some gaming news here. Let's kick it off with Xbox. There's a lot with Xbox we can cover here, but let's talk about the Windows Central article source about the fact that it's going to the next Xbox is basically a Win32 platform. So we're talking about a PC platform machine. And we talked about the other linking this is the UI leak that we saw online had Steam running on the Xbox in the latest UI update. So this is where Microsoft's heading, I guess, right? So we're looking at just basically if you buy an Xbox, you're buying just the PC at this point. Is that what we're looking at, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they've been doing for the past. They've been just getting closer and closer every iteration to PCs.
Yeah, I mean, Win32 platform, so you're looking at that aspect of things and trying to actually emulate the Xbox platform before it so that you can play the older games. That's what they're working on now.
Yeah, my guess is that it's going to be just a box, a PC that's labeled Xbox. And it's going to be a little bit more affordable to people thinking they're going to get a gaming machine. It's just going to be a PC with Xbox on it.
Do we get, Tony, you might be able to answer this one. Do we get is this moving like 3DO? Do we get this like multiple companies making an Xbox soon?
I think so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we talked about.
I mean, the
handheld
handheld, yeah, the handheld is definitely going to be that.
Did the ski instructor go to college? Because
I-
knowledge is power.
Thanks,
Okay.
Alexa.
I didn't even say that word, but okay.
Okay.
Mm.
No, I think that's
Maybe
where Microsoft's going to be heading with their Xbox platform. So they'll make a console themselves. Don't get me wrong, but I think they will license out their Xbox name brand to put it on other, like Lenovo will have an Xbox at some point. You know, stuff like that. Not Lenovo,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense anymore for what they're trying to do, and selling as many games as possible. You need a healthy ecosystem, and we'll get to it in. We could probably transition to it, but Matt Piscatella of Circana had just posted some data about how. What is it? Let me see.
So yeah, that's I would link that with the sales. Yeah.
Yeah, the sales were.
It was after each platform's first 52 months in the market, PlayStation 5 unit sales exceeded PlayStation 4's by 7%, while Xbox Series now trails Xbox One by 19%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It was bad.
And that's
For a system that-
Xbox One. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think Xbox One was about, when all was said and done, I think it was like 60 million or so.
Maybe.
So if you're down
Maybe.
20%,
Yeah.
if you're down 20%, let's just call it an even 50 million, right? Round up, round down, whatever we want to call it. I mean, that is not enough when you're bleeding tech company. I know we talked about it on the movie cast with Apple, but like, unfortunately, they just run a different ship. And they, like I said, they bought Activision Blizzard King for $70 billion, and people want to see return on investments on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sooner rather than later, you need to get started on that.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
we got Indiana Jones coming to PlayStation on April 17th.
Yeah.
Well.
I mean, that's huge for them, and I said it last week, I think, on the podcast. I'm excited for that to happen because, again, it goes back to games needing to get played better, played more, and The Great Circle is a great game that needs more people to play it, and because it needs a sequel. And I think if you're on one platform, it's hard to get that sequel. This helps them massively, and.
Well, if you're on a
Well,
platform
we'll see.
that doesn't exist
It's
anymore.
on every other platform except for PlayStation so far, but we'll see.
I mean, it's just PC and Xbox, not on Switch. Last time I checked, right?
Wait,
Not
what
every
game are we
Well,
talking
that
about?
doesn't count.
It's not
Yeah.
It's not every platform,
Okay.
Mike.
What game are we
Hardly
talking about?
anything
Indiana
counts.
Jones.
It'll come to Switch too.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too, and I think
Maybe.
that's exciting. I'm excited. Like I said, it's going to be a different world for the Xbox fans, including myself, who loves that old environment. But it's a good thing because you're not tied into another ecosystem again. You can play. It's almost like Xbox is an app. That's what's going to be. I mean, you're looking at that will be installed on whatever you want to play the Xbox games on. Probably not PlayStation, but I still hold out for Switch 2 for Xbox integration at some point. But I do think that
They have it.
what's that?
They have it. It's logged into your Microsoft account. That's it. There's not going to be a Game Pass at all. Period. Zero.
Yeah.
Like, get that through your head. Like,
Yeah.
the sooner you come to accept that, the better it is.
No, I get it.
Why would these companies do this? Like,
No, I get it.
there's no
Absolutely.
incentive for Sony. There's no incentive for Nintendo to be like, yeah, Microsoft, we'll let you charge $25-$30 a month so people can play your games and not buy ours anymore.
But their games will be there on the Switch too, and
100%, because 30% of $70, because we will see that on the Switch 2 next week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
30% of,
that's next
70,
week
60%
Gosh.
of $70 is way more per game than you're getting from Game Pass because if you had Game Pass hypothetically on PlayStation or Switch, because Nintendo and Sony would want to cut of that. And Sony and Nintendo or Microsoft would either have to raise the price of Game Pass, which we're already approaching that cap. I don't know, how much is that worth to people?
Yeah.
I don't really see it. The closer you get to $30, I think the harder value proposition it is for people.
Absolutely.
So
I think that they're obviously going multi-platform for everything. I do think the Switch. I think Nintendo will get its own. I do think they'll get different games depending on the platform. Certain games will be on all of them. And the funny part is, I'm almost make a bold prediction. What's that?
Go ahead.
I was going to make a bold prediction that Dark Ages Doom is going to be on Switch 2.
100%. Why wouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Doom 2016 and Eternal on Switch.
I don't know. I feel like that was maybe it's not that bold. I thought it was bold. Sorry,
it's not that bold.
Yeah, I thought it was bold, but I guess.
Hey, the last 2 games in the
it.
series are playable on the Switch. I'm gonna make a bold prediction. Third one's gonna be too. It's like,
yeah.
And we've already talked about it. Every game is that Microsoft's
if they can get it to run, they will release it.
I mean, if they don't get it to run, sometimes we'll release it. So it's like
they'll emulate it or something. Yeah,
what game on Xbox right now or coming in the future is not going to be on every system that, like, especially
Nothing.
Switch 2, especially.
Nothing. I can't
The
see.
Switch 2 is going to be just as powerful as what we got right now.
I mean, the last bastion for Microsoft, the last hope for people, for the Xbox fans, is Halo.
What?
And that's, I'm just saying the newest Halo game, but that will go away when they announce Halo launching also on the PS6 or whenever it comes out. So
let me make sure I understand this correctly. Halo needs Nintendo and PlayStation's audience.
They do
more than
I'm not arguing.
Either those audiences need Halo.
I'm not arguing with this. I'm just saying that the fanboys' last argument is, we have Halo, which is not a game to argue anymore. It's not even that anymore. I'm just saying that I feel like their last hold is that until they get that finally blown up in their face where it's going to be.
Is it like do people even care about Halo?
Xbox fans do possibly. I don't know. I mean, what do they have besides Gears?
Nothing.
Halo? Yeah, I mean, what do they have?
That's what we've been asking. Yeah. Like, they keep canceling all their exclusives, or
Fable
then like
doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
We know that.
Fuck that game. I'm so annoyed. I'm getting angry. It doesn't exist. Most of this stuff doesn't exist that they're making. It's theoretical. It's theoretical stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, we're a week away from the Nintendo Switch 2.
I forgot about
right?
That. Yeah,
we are having. I mean, people are already speculating or hinting, whatever you want to call it, insiders and stuff, that Microsoft is going to be one of the biggest supporters of the Switch 2 from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
From the get-go. Yeah. So, get
ready, Jim. Get ready.
I imagine the newer games are probably like. Actually, I would not be surprised if Indiana Jones was one of the first ones too. Actually, like. So be like, hey, this fall or whatever like that.
That's why I'm saying Dark Ages. I'm thinking at the show next week, Dark Ages.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, why not? Throw it up there.
Because the thing is, when you have one game to market, like Doom, Dark Ages, you can just advertise all the platforms at the same time. Yeah. So if they have the Switch 2 version ready to launch, you only have to market it once instead of being like.
Do we really think the Switch 2 is going to handle all these games one-to-one like that? Weren't the rumors it'd be like PS4 Pro equivalent? Not exactly current gen equivalent.
It's close. But you can scale.
The gap between Switch 1 and PS4 Pro was bigger than Switch 2 to PS4 or PS5 rather. So the thing is, if you want to go just by the raw stats, and we don't even have the full stats, but just what people are.
Frozen. Huh. What is happening? Yeah. Yeah. Our
right? If that's half a step above the PS5, if you were showing the PS6 right now, other than if the game ran at 120 120 frames per second, I wouldn't be able to notice the difference. I wouldn't. And even even setting up Assassin's Creed and recently Monster Hunter Wilds, right? Because I have a good PC. I'm just playing around with the settings, and it's like, oh, okay, what's the difference between ultra and high and medium for like shadows or lighting? I'm just like, what? Like, sure, I guess that's better. Like,
getting old, man.
Like,
can't see it.
Yeah, dude. Some of it, I'm just like, really? Like, that's the difference between low and high.
It's all about
like,
the lighting now. It's like how natural can you make the lighting, and that's what really comes down to.
Well, that's why I thought of Indiana Jones, because I know at least the previous build, ray tracing was required, I believe, the way it was.
I don't know anything about that.
We'll
but I'm saying like the lighting, I think, is very much going to be the big step as far like with the ray tracing and all that, and just natural light sources and all those different things is going to be the next step for graphical. Like the only reason you would need to push the graphic hardware, because otherwise, like Tony's saying, like you're not going to see the difference. It's going to be the frame rate that's going to be the biggest factor now.
Yeah,
especially for twitchy games.
I agree. So, all right. What do we have else with news? We just threw a bunch in there.
Well, there was that Dreamhaven thing, that Game Awards. Did you guys see that?
I saw something about it.
What?
No, like apparently, like a Game Awards did like the special announcement spotlight on Dreamhaven, which is the new company that was founded by Mike Morhaime from Blizzard.
Yeah.
He's like doing publishing, he's doing developing. They showed a bunch of different games. Looks interesting, I guess, but again, we don't really know enough about that stuff yet. But yeah, I'd check it out. Just it was kind of neat, you know. But it's so hard to come into this industry and start something new.
Yeah.
Oh, especially now. I mean, it's bad.
The market's also, it's terrible right now. So contraction like crazy. Talking about returns though, how about Game Informer back?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Employees pulled together, got some investment somehow.
Yeah, I mean, cool, but
someone had a rich friend.
What's the business model? How's this gonna work? How are they gonna make money? They weren't making money with GameStop. What's gonna happen here? That's what I'm
I don't know. I think
you know how GameStop prints money.
Yeah, GameStop is terrible at what they were doing. So let's just see what this other people can do. Maybe marketing it better and actually getting content better. And so all right.
Well, listen,
magazines like in the mail, something people are excited for anymore.
They don't need that. They can do a website.
I'm not saying they need it. I'm just saying, is that something people are excited for? Because I don't know if they have a print version.
Well, one of the biggest things was, much like we were talking about with Warner Brothers and getting rid of their legacy, that's literally what GameStop did with Game Informer. I mean, the entire website and all of its articles were just gone.
Yeah.
Decades worth.
And stuff was physically thrown in a vault. Like,
or even
they weren't allowed to get it.
I even saw a TikTok video of two Game Informer staffers going to the GameStop where, like, nearest their office or whatever, and they were seeing stuff that was gifted to them by development teams. Like, I want to say it might have been a Witcher statue or something like that. Stuff that was like, hey, this is pretty unique or very rare. Like, GameStop just had it because it's like, well, fuck it. Like, we'll just sell it for whatever we can. You know, or just display it until we can sell it. So good for them. Again, I wish them the best of luck, because I don't know how you make print stuff happen, or even website, stuff without, falling back on clickbait crap. Like IGN's been on a run lately with everything that's reviewed is bad, but everything that's reviewed bad is good.
I mean, that's everything now, though, like including the influencers. So, you're going to get that. Debate. So, but I do think I've had a softer spot for the video game journalists than most. So I hope it works out and it doesn't fall apart like G4 did when it got back together.
Yeah, we'll see. You're right. It could be different.
So. I just know I'm not going to be supporting it. So
yeah,
I'm sorry ahead of time. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Corey, if you're not, it's okay. You don't need to say. You can just be like,
I am not going to support.
I'm just being clear here. Transparency.
Why? Who wanted that transparency?
I don't know.
Just say people, good for them and that's enough. Corey, good for them and that's
anti-Game Informer. Corey, anti-Game Informer.
Best of luck.
I could say nothing, but I wanted chime in here.
Fuck you, Game Informer. Signed, Corey.
Don't care about you. You're done.
Jeez.
You lose.
I don't want to be like, hey, I hope you guys do great and wish you the best, but like, then be like, well, I'm not behind the scenes.
You could say that.
Well, my support will be.
Like, we don't
my
know
support
this.
No, I'm
literally
not going to
if
say
there's
something
a
that I
free
mean it,
website,
man.
I would look at it. That's all I'm going to do. But I
now
still
we're beating a dead
all
horse.
for it.
You could also just have been quiet.
You could also move on.
We could.
Oh, are we gonna get a Barb moment here?
So we didn't get to mention, but Assassin's Creed Shadows is the series' second biggest launch ever.
I was going to cover that one next. Yeah, I thought we talked about that real quick about the millions upon millions of people playing it.
So I talked about millions and millions. There's no context given.
Got it.
Yeah.
Was
maybe
the
later.
One the biggest one? What was the biggest one?
Valhalla.
Oh, Valhalla. Wow.
But that was COVID-19 lockdown.
Oh,
yeah, and it's also got a bunch of shitty microtransactions too.
Yeah. So.
Well,
lastly, last in the news, Witcher 4 won't be out until like.
We're just moving on.
Wait, from what?
The Assassin's Creed thing.
I thought we just talked about
nice. Good for
I'm
them.
sorry.
We mentioned. Okay, all right, never mind. Go on.
Go on.
Right, just
go.
No. The moment's gone. 30
it's
seconds.
Done great. It's amazing.
30 seconds. Yep. Okay. That's it. 30 seconds.
It's number 2.
Go on.
No. So it's done great. Good for them. Congratulations, especially in the like they're hiring lawyers to protect their employees and stuff like that. So
that's not what I want to talk about. Go on. Just move on, Jim. Move on. What did you want to talk about next?
I was gonna say Witcher 4 won't be out until sometime in 2027.
Great.
Is that news?
Yes.
Yes.
Came out of that aforementioned.
Okay. Witcher 4 never coming out. Confirmed.
Yeah, and that's now. Yeah, I expect that later than this. So.
Well, I mean, hopefully they let it cook and.
No, they definitely are, and that's what I said about the whole Cyberpunk fiasco and why it was important for them to do that 2.0. Like, they needed to fix this because, again, they're not like EA, they're not like Activision Blizzard, they're not like these other companies. It's like, hey, we release 2 to 3 games every year, and to just keep the machine going. It's like CD Projekt Red's whole thing is release a game once every 8 years, and that game needs to continue to sell.
Better be right. Yes.
Until the next game comes out.
Yes.
So.
Which they needed to show that they could do it too, which was important.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Yeah, actually,
I'm glad.
2027 seems kind of soon. Actually, yeah, we'll see.
I don't expect it in that year, so I expect a delay. You have to get at least 1 or 2 delays. So late just 2028.
Yeah. So just to go over. The split, because back in November they announced over 30 million copies of Cyberpunk 2077 have been sold, but they gave us platform breakdown today of Cyberpunk. So Cyberpunk, 12% Xbox, 26% PlayStation, and 62% on PC. So that is I'm
not surprised. Like that.
Well, it was delisted on the PlayStation when it was
true.
It came out. It was that much of a disaster on the console. So
much better deals on PC.
Yeah. I mean, they gave the year breakdown. So the first year was rough. PlayStation had the lowest percentage that year. It was 13%. But you can even see the years afterwards. Even the 2.0 launch back in 2023, PC had a 65% share that year. And even last year, 62%. So CD Projekt knows where their money is, and that's kind of why we see them ramping all their marketing towards the PC version. I doubt Witcher 4 is going to be any different.
That's why what made them fail with their launch, because they only focused on the PC version of their game.
Oh, 100%. Absolutely. I mean, I was the one criticizing because they flat out was like, oh, yeah, this is totally going to run the last gen.
This will work.
Did not work.
That actually is the biggest difference, because I had a PS4 Pro and struggled to get anything to work. I played through it in that game, but now PS5, it's like night and day. So that's the big difference. Cyberpunk on those two systems.
It's just badly optimized.
That's the biggest feeling. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's also just too big for what they were trying to do on those systems.
No, I don't think so. I think it's just poorly optimized. I don't think so.
No, I don't think it could. I don't think it was possible.
I don't know.
Well, I mean, again, they they got Witcher 3 to run on the Nintendo Switch. It's more about where they put the development dollars towards. And they had a lot of marketing deals for PC parts and gamer chairs with Cyberpunk. You had so many content creators being like, "Wow, I got this new what the fuck is that? Lab chair, like a one game.
Yeah, that yellow thing. Yeah,
the yellow thing. It's like, wow, I got this like $500 gamer chair. Thanks, CD Projekt Red. I love Cyberpunk. It's like, yeah, you didn't get paid at all. You didn't get bought out.
So, all right. Anything else to add, guys? What else do we have? Anything else? I think that's it. But
no Switch. Well, I guess the rumor is we might get a stealth Switch 1 Nintendo Direct drop on Thursday.
Oh, they're gonna tease us with
that would be crazy.
A Direct and not be Switch 2. I forgot.
Well, we know when Switch 2 is coming.
I forgot it was next week. I forgot it was next week. Like, you said this, and I'm like, holy crap! It's now. It's happening.
Yeah, it's next week.
So,
but yeah, no. The rumor is that they want to focus all the Switch 2 only games at the Direct next week. So any of the project they have for this year for Switch 1, they're showing off this year. Yes, to not take away any attention from, hey, this is Switch 2, and again the marketing confusion where it's like, oh, Wii U, what's that? That's an add-on, right? I don't need a controller.
So you're saying if we have the Direct this week and they don't mention Metroid Prime 4, I'm alive still for the bet.
Yes, but
but how alive? Yes,
how alive, right?
Yeah. So we'll see.
Nintendo's got patches on the Mariners uniforms.
Yes, that was cool. Good for them.
Even though they own a way less of a stake than they used to in that team. They used to be the majority owner. I thought, or something.
They sold that, but they're advertising now with them, which is great. I think that's cool. Bring some MLB, presence, because the jerseys have they're like NASCAR now, where they can put more. For those who don't follow baseball, they changed the rules where you can sell ad space on team jerseys now, and even helmets. So I'm happy to see Nintendo taking that step and be the first company like that to advertise on the shoulders of the shoulder sleeves. So
you even had Pokemon. You had Pikachu at was the opening games in Japan, right?
Yeah, that was true. Yeah. So yeah, all right. That's cool. Good for them. Yeah. So
MLB is Pokemon and anime.
Yeah.
Dude, it's anime baseball cards versions of anime.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So some of those are the chase cards.
I told you guys. I told you that other year when they had that VTuber on.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. There's a Derek Jeter anime.
I'm kind of trying to chase that Juan Soto anime card.
Well, people attribute Gura to that whole. What was the team that won that year? Was it the Dodgers?
No,
probably not.
It was 2020 then, yes, but other than that, last year, that's all they've won.
Or who was
Houston? Probably.
I forget who it was.
Probably Astros.
They came back after she made that V2 appearance and
so we'll see.
Baseball song.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's going to wrap up this episode of the Gamecast. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, we are live on Twitch Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock. Please join us for these live broadcasts. If not, YouTube. Next week, looks like we might get a Direct to talk about. Switch 2 is, I think, when's that next week? It's Thursday? What day is
Wednesday.
Wednesday? So we'll miss it on that podcast, but stay tuned for Switch 2 news. So, all right, that's going to wrap it up, guys. We'll see you guys next week. We are out.